Here are the weirdest and most ridiculous festivals people celebrate. Number 10. Nenana Ice Classic. Each year, the people of Nenana, Alaska, take part in an interesting contest where they buy tickets to guess the exact time when the ice on the Tanana River will break. A wooden tripod is placed on the ice about 300 feet from the shore. It's attached to a clock that stops as soon as the ice breaks. The Ice Classic began as an ice betting pool in 1906 with 6 entries. After word of the lottery spread to towns along the local railroad by Alaska Railroad Commission workers, the lottery was opened up to residents of the Alaska and Yukon territories in 1917. In 1917, railroad engineers bet $801 on when the ice would break. In 2009, the prize money was $283,723. In 2014, the jackpot was a record $363,627. Since the Classic's beginning in 1906, over $10 million in prize money has been given away. The whole purpose of this ice contest is to raise money for charity. Number 9. Day of the Geese. Day of the Geese, or otherwise known as Ansar Iguna, is a competition held in the Spanish fishing town Liquitio. This festival involves trying to pull off dangling goose on a rope above the town harbor. This festival dates back at least a few hundred years and has been altered to be a bit more socially acceptable. The competition involves a goose being suspended above the water, and men drive around in boats underneath it. The guys take turns trying to jump out of their boats and pull the goose off the rope. But there's a catch. The goose is all greased up, so the fellas often slide off the goose and into the water. It's really hard to describe, but if you just watch it, you'll get the idea. Number 8. HADAKA MATSURI. We're in Japan for the next stop on our tour of weird holidays. Each year, thousands of dudes gather in places across the country wearing only a loincloth to take part in the HADAKA MATSURI. Festivals are held in dozens of places throughout Japan every year, usually in the summer or winter. On the surface, it may sound like a strange ceremony, but it's actually a fun contest where men try to earn some good luck for the upcoming year. This festival traces its roots back a half century or so. It involves a priest, some sacred sticks, a wooden measuring box, and a bunch of rice. The priests throw the sticks into the crowd of guys who then battle over them. Whoever can manage to grab them and hoist them up into the measuring box full of rice is blessed with a year of happiness. Apparently, this is a spectator sport that people pay real money to observe. So, if this sounds like your cup of tea and you happen to need some luck, you may just want to head over when it happens in a Japanese town near you. Number 7. LOPBURI Monkey Buffet. Each year in Thailand, the people of the LOPBURI province near Bangkok gather to offer up fruit, veggies, candy, and other food items to the local monkey population. The monkeys, who have apparently taken up residence in the ruins of a 10th century temple, gladly accept these gifts. The people of the province, as well as tourists from all over, gather to pile a ton of food in front of the temples, which seems like a good idea for the 3,000 or so monkeys who call the ancient ruins home. The festival dates way back to 1989 as a scheme to attract more tourists. If you couldn't tell, I'm being sarcastic. To some degree, it's worked out pretty well, as thousands of people flock to the city each year to take part in this monkey buffet. The province of LOPBURI has a rich history dating back more than 1,000 years. For centuries, it played a vital role in the economy and politics of Thailand. These days, though, it's better known for the temple-dwelling monkeys. Because they live so close to people, and because the locals offer up such delightful feasts, the monkeys of this region are not startled by people at all. In fact, they have been known to playfully climb on people and snatch any food they have. Number 6. Bean Throwing Day. Each February, a Japanese ritual known as Setsuban takes place. It's an event that marks the lunar calendar's last day before spring, and people all across Japan go to shrines and temples and throw beans to atone for the past and to bring good luck for the future. Apparently, it's custom for celebrities, athletes, and other well-known public figures to attend such public events, while the common folk perform bean-throwing ceremonies at home. Roasted soybeans are thrown either out the door or at a member of the family wearing a demon mask, while the people say, "Demons out! Luck in!" and slam the door. This is still common practice in households, but like the celebrities we mentioned, many people will attend a shrine or temple spring festival where this is all done. The beans are thought to symbolically purify the home by driving away the evil spirits that bring misfortune and bad health with them. Then, as part of bringing luck in, it's customary to eat roasted soybeans, one for each year of one's life. And in some areas, one for each year of one's life plus one more for bringing good luck for the year to come. Now this is something I can get with. Number 5, KRAMPUS. Okay, I know Krampus isn't strictly a holiday, but it's a part of holiday folklore and way too weird to leave off of this list. As legend has it, he's a fearsome creature, half goat, half devil. Feared by children in Eastern Europe, Krampus is rumored to punish boys and girls who misbehave, while good old Saint Nick gives the good children toys. Imagine for a second that you're a little gullible child, and you're told that Krampus will punish you if you misbehave. Seriously, look how weird this thing is. So much for holiday cheer, right? The origins and history of Krampus seem to be pretty complex. His caricature was given chains when Christianity became more prevalent to symbolize the devil being bound or something like that. Anyway, in parts of Europe where the legend of Krampus lives on, adults sometimes dress up as this deranged devil-goat hybrid during parades or as a way to play practical jokes on kids. Let's give the Europeans some credit here, because an evil goat devil is way more scary than a lump of coal. Well played, guys. Number 4, Night of the Radishes. Every year, the fine residents of Oaxaca, Mexico, take part in a tradition known as the Night of the Radishes. This event dates back to the colonial period when the Spanish first brought radishes over from China. The event supposedly began 1 year during the 19th century when the radish harvest was especially plentiful. Some of the radishes just lay there, and instead of being used, they continued to grow. They morphed into weird shapes that people thought were funny, and someone began to carve them into even funnier shapes. So that seemingly innocuous event evolved into a radish carving competition in 1897, and is now an annual event held around Christmas time. Contestants gather to carve elaborate designs. The event usually attracts a lot of visitors who can go and check out all the weird and wacky shapes that contestants carve. Sadly, once the radishes are cut, they can't last very long before withering away, so the carvings only exist for a few hours or so. Number 3, La Tomatina. Imagine for a second that you have a proclivity for throwing tomatoes at people just for the hell of it. If that describes you in any way, then perhaps you should visit Benol, Spain, where La Tomatina is a thing. Each year in August, people get together and engage in a friendly tomato fight. La Tomatina began in either 1944 or 45, and those most familiar with the obscure tradition theorize that it began when angry townspeople began hurling tomatoes at city council members. Apparently, these angry townspeople derived a certain amount of joy from this weird display of anger because they chose to do it again the next year, and the next year, and every year after that. Today, it's evolved into a fun-loving event where people toss tomatoes at each other for an hour or so. Interestingly enough, the city square is usually covered in tomato paste after the fight, and after the fire department washes it away, the streets are completely clean thanks to the acidity of the tomatoes. So, really, something very mean and negative turned into something fun and ironically sanitary. Number 2, Punch Your Neighbor Festival. At least for a brief period of time, the concept of love thy neighbor is rather obsolete in Bolivia. Each year, people descend upon the Bolivian city of Macha to take part in the Tinku Festival. Tinku roughly translates to encounter. Okay, so what is an encounter festival? Well, this spiffy little festival traces its beginnings back to an old religious ceremony in pre-Hispanic Bolivia. The whole purpose of this odd ritual was to appease the goddess of the earth, Pachamama. So, people got together and fought, which seems totally normal and healthy back in those days. These days, it's not nearly that intense. The fights are monitored by the cops. Whether it's done for the sake of tradition or to settle some kind of feud, I don't know. But my guess is it's not to appease the earth goddess or whatever. Number 1, Be Nasty Day. If you're looking for a convenient way to be really mean to people, or if you're just naturally mean-spirited and don't want to be considered a jerk for at least one day, then perhaps Be Nasty Day will be of interest to you. Each year on March 8, it's Be Nasty Day, a chance to just be a jerk to everyone. Even after scouring the internet, I couldn't find much about the history of this odd holiday, but my guess is it's a much more benign version of the purge. After all, passive-aggressive people need a way to air their grievances to their peers. Whether or not you are granted any kind of social immunity is probably up to whoever you offend on March 8th. Here's what's next.